This is the second day in a row that I've came all the way out here. No rain in the forecast, and as soon as I get out here, it starts raining. Second day in a row. I went all the way back home yesterday, but today I'm not going to, so screw it. We're gonna see if we can get through this. I'm not worried about the guns or me, obviously. It's the camera equipment that worries me because I don't think any of my cameras are weather sealed, but we'll see how it goes. So this is a video that I've wanted to make for a really long time, and this is probably gonna be a controversial video, but in my opinion, this is just a no-brainer. So what I'm gonna try to convince you of in today's video is that the 545 AK-74 is a superior rifle to the 7.62 AK-47. I know those are fighting words to some of you guys probably, but don't get me wrong, I love both of these guns. These are two of my favorite rifles that I own. But like I said, it's a no-brainer to me. I've shot both of them so much, and I'm pretty much set in my opinion on this. And I think by the end of this video, I'll be able to prove it to you. AK-47. It almost knocks that gong over every time I shoot it. Not too shabby. And the AK-74. That red dot makes it kind of unfair. That is much easier to hit the target with. All right, let's talk about each of these rifles a little bit. It is freezing cold out here, by the way. But right off the bat, I'll just go ahead and list a couple disadvantages that the AK-74 does have to the 7.62 AK-47. Number one is gonna be defeating barriers, like really hard barriers. The 7.62, just that bigger 30 caliber bullet, will do better at getting through certain barriers. Most of the time, it's just a harder bullet to slow down and a harder bullet to stop. There's definitely cases where the faster bullet from the AK-74 would do a better job at getting through stuff like maybe body armor or something like that. But typically, the AK-47 will be better at defeating hard barriers. Number two, and most importantly, especially right now, is availability of the guns and availability of the ammo. So, as I'm sure most of you know, the 545x39 rifles and ammo have not been nearly as available as the 7.62. There are some American companies that are trying to change that and make the AK-74s more available. Hopefully they're successful, because if the shelves are full of the AK-74s like they are the AK-47s, I definitely think this could be one of the most popular rifles in the country. All right, now for the advantages of the AK-74. You probably noticed just right off the bat the recoil of the 545x39 is probably less than half of what you get from the 7.62x39. It's just a much softer shooting round. I would say this is probably softer shooting than my AR-15, and that's definitely saying something, because that's a soft shooting gun. But I think the weight of the gun and the heavy front end on the AK-74 helps dampen the recoil even more, because these things are super comfortable to shoot. Another obvious advantage to the lighter, faster bullet of the AK-74 is going to be longer range. So obviously AK-47s are kind of known for not being the best at long distance. That's a big heavy bullet, and it kind of drops off pretty quick, whereas the 545x39 is more similar to the 5.56, and you can get out, you know, 800 or 900 yards if you really had to, and it's not going to drop as much as the 7.62x39. Basically all the advantages that the 5.56 has with the AR-15, the 5.45 also has with the AK-74, and that was kind of what inspired them to come up with another, you know, caliber for the AK. Plus, you get super AK reliability and durability just like you do with the 7.62 gun. So I mean, it's almost like cheating. It's so easy to hold flat and shoot well. It's just almost feels like I can't miss with this thing. So I went ahead and grabbed each of these rounds to kind of show you guys what they look like side by side. I'm sure most of you already know, but the 5.45 I believe is on your right, and the 7.62 should be on your left. Obviously 7.62 is noticeably bigger and you can see the overall length is exactly the same. And while we're talking about the ammo, you would assume that a bigger, heavier bullet would be more effective, and that's true some of the time, but if you look up the ballistics on the 5.45, you might actually be surprised, because ballistically it's very impressive. Even when you compare it to the 7.62, it performs really well. And when you factor in all the other stuff I've talked about, I wouldn't necessarily consider the 5.45 an inferior cartridge. There's a lot of situations where the 5.45 would be just as effective, if not more effective, than the 7.62 by 39. So most of you guys have seen the AK-74 on the channel already, but for those of you that haven't, it is the Arsenal SLR 104. It does have a folding stock on the back, which I absolutely love, and you can fire it folded. And other than that, it's pretty much just a regular AK. I did put an Aimpoint Micro on it, which is an amazing addition. Makes it like pretty much cheating when you're shooting this thing. And other than that, it's just a standard AK. One thing I'll address, a lot of people assume that since the 5.45 is a smaller caliber, that the guns are lighter weight or built differently. From what I've seen, they look identical to the AK-47s. Even the barrel is about the same thickness as my AK-47. And I know some guns even are more durable in the barrel because they hollow out less of that barrel for the 5.45, whereas the 7.62 is obviously a bigger bullet, so it requires a bigger hole. But no, I don't think the 5.45 guns are less durable or lighter weight. They're usually about the exact same as the 7.62. So, all right, we'll shoot it, empty out this magazine, and then we'll do a couple more things with each of these guns. It's so easy to hit that steel gulling, it's almost getting boring. I have a couple other targets down there, but not much. Hit that black target. An absolute blast to shoot this thing. Faster follow-up shots, that's another advantage in my opinion to the AK-74. So I got my shot timer out here. We're gonna see how fast we can get hits on the steel. I'll do 5 rounds out of each gun and time it and see how fast we can get them. It's kind of splitting hairs, but let's see. Not bad. 3.94. Now for the soaking wet AK-74. The rain's picking back up, of course. 3.94. 2.10. About half the time that it took for the AK-47. Now, like I said, that is kind of splitting hairs. There's obviously people out there who can do much faster than me. I bet Jerry Michelet could get those shots off in under half a second. But for the average person, the AK-74 will absolutely give you quicker follow-up shots and quicker target transitions. It just has that much less recoil. Well, if my cameras were waterproof, we could have fun shooting these guns out in the rain, but they're not, and I don't want to ruin them for this video. But I just noticed in that last clip when I showed you guys the shot timer from the AK-74, it said like 4.18. But when I looked at it, it said 2.10, so that's why I said that. I'm thinking when I went to grab it, it must have registered me touching it as a gunshot. I've never had that happen before, but it definitely said 2.10, and then I just looked at the clip and it said 4.18 or something like that. So I don't know what that's about. I've never had that happen before, but no big deal, I guess. You could definitely tell that it was faster with the AK-74 than the AK-47. But I was gonna come back out here tomorrow and finish up this video, but maybe I'll just come back out and get some more clips of me shooting and go ahead and finish it up right here. So, like I said, in my opinion, the AK-74 is superior for almost every reason. But with the resurgence that's kind of happening with the AK-74, like I said, I've heard of a couple American companies who are supposedly making really good guns, and if that's the case, and they turn out to be good, then I think the AK-74 has the potential to be just one of the most popular rifles in the country. It's so much fun to shoot, so easy to shoot, such a soft shooting rifle, and it's actually really effective in combat as well. So it's not like it's an inferior caliber to the 7.62. In some ways it obviously is, but in other ways it's superior, and it matches up pretty evenly with the 5.56, but you get the durability and reliability of the AK-47 that everyone loves about those guns. Unfortunately, the Russian AK-74s and even the Bulgarian Hungarian AK-74s are pretty hard to get. I overpaid for that one like 4 or 5 years ago, and you're definitely going to overpay if you can find one now. But I'm glad I bought it, and I would probably do it again because, like I said, it's got to be definitely one of my favorite rifles, and for many reasons, my overall favorite rifle. And that would probably be the gun if crap ever hit the fan that I'm going to grab first, because I know it's going to work and I know it's going to be super effective. Plus, luckily I have a lot of ammo for that thing too. And I know I'm not alone in this opinion, because when I've uploaded videos in the past, I've heard from a lot of you guys who agree 100% that the AK-74 is superior to the AK-47, and there's a reason that most of the Russian military and, you know, a lot of militaries overseas have switched from the 7.62 to the 5.45. Another advantage that I didn't really talk about is the weight of the ammo, and that's a big reason why our military started using the M16 and the M4 and, you know, the 5.56 caliber, because it's small and lightweight enough to carry a lot more of it, but it's still effective enough usually in combat to do the job. And that's the same role that the 5.45 fills in combat as well. The 7.62 is super effective. Like I said, at longer range it suffers, but in terms of carrying a lot of ammo, 7.62 definitely gets heavy a lot quicker, whereas with 5.45 you can carry, you know, probably twice the ammo. Again, this is all kind of hypothetical because I'm not in combat right now and we're not in a SHTF scenario, but it is, you know, fun and even intelligent to think about this stuff and game plan for stuff like that if it ever did happen. And personally, I like 30 caliber rifles, but the AR-15 and the AK-74 would definitely be my first two choices because of the weight of the ammo and how much of it you can carry. So let me know how you guys feel about this in the comments, if I upset you with my opinion or if you agree with me. Like I said, I know there's a lot of people out there who do agree with me on this, so this isn't some like out there belief that the AK-74 is a superior rifle. A lot of people, including AK enthusiasts, prefer the 5.45 guns over the 7.62 guns. Obviously, the 7.62 will always be the original AK, and it's the most common and most popular rifle in the world, and everyone knows what an AK-47 looks like. But it's just my opinion. I do think the AK-74 is far superior, honestly. Almost in every way, I prefer the AK-74, and it's not even close for me. So let me know how you feel about this in the comments. Don't get mad at me. It's just my opinion. Like I said, you're entitled to yours, and I would love to hear it from you in the comments below. If you like this video, as always, please hit that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.